You know that weird, almost magical quiet that settles in around late December? It's like the whole world just stops. The emails dry up, your calendar suddenly has empty space, and everyone seems to take this huge collective breath. So, what's actually going on there? What's the science behind this incredible annual slowdown? Well, let's get into it. Seriously, think about it for a second, because it's a real puzzle. How do all these people who usually treat their schedules like it's a competitive sport, suddenly and all at once agree that, yeah, tomorrow can wait? What is happening in our brains that makes this possible? Well, the answer is way deeper than just using up vacation days. This whole period is actually a kind of ancient social technology. It's this brilliant design cooked up for our exhausted brains, and it's been around for centuries. Yeah, long before we ever had productivity apps or corporate wellness programs, societies built these pauses right into the calendar. These rituals, these festivals, they were anchored to the seasons, to harvests, to the cycles of light. They were basically essential biological checkpoints for humanity, not just some cultural bonus. A perfect example is Christmas. It evolved from all these ancient winter festivals. And what's so cool is that if you look underneath all the theology and the tinsel, its original job is still right there. It's a shared game plan to help us get through the psychological weight of winter together. But to really get why this works so well, we've got to look inside our heads. So what is going on at a neurological level? To understand why this shared break is so powerful, we have to get one thing straight. Our brains are not machines. They're not computers. They are biological systems, and they absolutely crave rhythm. We have this myth that the brain is like some tireless intern that just runs on willpower, right? That you can just push through anything with continuous effort. But the reality? The brain is a rhythmic system. It doesn't run on endless effort. It runs on cycles. And those pauses we take, they're not optional. They are essential. And I'm not talking about some vague concept here. We mean actual, concrete biological rhythms. Think about your sleep cycles, or the waves of your attention span that literally rise and fall all day long. Even the pulses of our hormones. Trying to just power through and maintain continuous effort, it just goes against our fundamental biology. It's completely unsustainable. Okay, so if our brains need rhythm, where do the holidays come in? Well, it all comes down to the comfort of repetition. This is where rituals become this incredibly efficient tool for our minds. Here's a really powerful way to think about it. Our brains are basically glucose-hungry biological prediction machines. Their number one job from an energy-saving perspective is to predict what is going to happen next. Why? Because uncertainty is metabolically expensive. It burns a ton of mental fuel. And this shows exactly how rituals help lower those costs. So you encounter a familiar ritual, the same songs, the same foods, the same traditions. Your brain goes, oh, I know this one. It can accurately predict the outcome, which means less energy is spent on high alert, monitoring for threats, or just trying to figure things out. And all that saved energy, it can be used for what really matters, connecting with other people. And look, this isn't just about one specific holiday. This is a universal human design. The stories and the symbols might change across cultures, but the neurological goal, that social bonding, is exactly the same. Just take a look here. Christmas uses trees and lights to kind of slow down the calendar and soften winter's darkness. Diwali uses lamps to fill the home with light during the darkest part of the year. Eid uses a big feast to bring the family together after a period of quiet reflection. See? Different symbols, different stories, but a very, very similar neurological effect. They mark time, they encourage us to gather, and they repeat patterns that our brains can just relax into. So here's the most important part. You don't have to subscribe to any particular belief system to get the benefit. Your nervous system isn't checking your theology papers. It's just responding directly to the timing, the rhythm, and the incredible power of just being together. All right, so this brings us to what I think is the real holiday magic. And here's a little spoiler. It has almost nothing to do with what you buy and everything to do with what you finally have the mental space to notice. Just think about it for a second. When you try to take a break while everyone else is still hustling, it can feel like a weakness, right? You might even feel kind of guilty about it. But when everyone stops together, it doesn't feel like weakness anymore. It feels like culture. It feels like connection. That pause is visible, it's shared, and it's temporary. You don't need to apologize for it.
And that leads us to the core idea of this whole explainer, which is summed up perfectly in this quote. A shared pause is one of the most underrated technologies for mental health. It's this incredible tool we've had all along.
This is just a little reality check against that whole idea that joy comes with a price tag. I mean, of course, gifts are nice, but what our brains are truly deeply wired to value, the stuff that creates the memories that actually stick around, are things like someone's full presence, the comfort of the familiar, real laughter, and just time spent together.
So maybe the goal this year isn't to buy meaning. Maybe it's just to finally notice what already brings us a sense of ease and connection. Because here's the thing, joy doesn't always need to be purchased. A lot of the time, it just needs to be noticed.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What's that one ritual, big or small, holiday related or not, that really helps your brain switch off all the noise and finally truly slow down each year? It's definitely worth thinking about.